Shalom. Understanding modern Jewish culture requires an understanding of some basic Jewish vocabulary, i.e. Yiddish terms. Some of these Yiddish terms have even made it in the mainstream. I saw recently in a local paper that they used the word chutzpah in a headline without any real definition of it, assuming that the whole Gentile world knows what chutzpah is. Yiddish, first of all, is a language the Jewish people spoke and still speak for about 1,000 years. It's written in Hebrew letters, but it has a lot of Germanic words. It's kind of a combination of German and Hebrew. And it was begun really by the Jews of Germany, and then it spread throughout Europe, Eastern Europe, and is spoken today by Hasidim and by Yiddishists. There's been a kind of a revival of Yiddish of sorts. There's a lot of extensive literature in Yiddish, but modern Jews at least know a few Yiddish terms. A lot of people my generation learned a few words because the parents spoke Yiddish when they didn't want us to understand what they were saying. And in my grandparents' generation, Yiddish was the common language in the household. Okay, so first of all, what is this chutzpah? Chutzpah is kind of daring and arrogance, kind of person that would appeal for mercy from the court after killing his parents on the grounds that he's an orphan. That would be chutzpah. Of course, there's a wonderful book about chutzpah by Professor Alan Dershowitz about the need to be more aggressive and pro-assertive. That's the way chutzpah is used. Now, shlemiel and shlemazal, two words for kind of ne'er-do-well people. The old story that the shlemazal will spill the soup on the shlemiel, or the shlemiel will spill the soup on the shlemazal. Words for people that are kind of down on their luck, that seem to be the ne'er-do-wells of society. Another word for that is a mizkane. Now, a goniff is a thief. The Hebrew word for steal is goniff, so goniff is a thief. A shikur is somebody who gets drunk, shikur. To be farblongeg would be to be driving aimlessly with getting lost and not knowing where you're going. Being farblongeg in life is having no real direction. Now, a lot of people know the word shlep. Shlep is to kind of, with heavy burden, carry one thing to another place or bring something or schlep somebody along. A shtickle is a little bit. I saw a Seinfeld episode recently where this non-Jewish dentist converts to Judaism, and Seinfeld accuses him of doing that so he can tell anti-Semitic jokes freely, and he says, give me a shtickle of fluoride, a little bit of fluoride, a shtickle. Fergussen would be somebody who's kind of grouchy. Oh, they have a farblongeg face. In fact, you'd say a farblongeg punim. Panim is the word for face, countenance, cheeks, but farblongeg punim would be a kind of a grouchy face. My father used to call us a ketzel, which is the Yiddish word for a little kitten, a ketzel or ketzela. Kochlefel, that is technically, a kochlefel is a pot stirrer, but somebody who likes to cause trouble would be a kochlefel. Now, machatonim, machatonista, machatonim, mechutin, those are words for in-laws. So your mechutin would be the father-in-law, your daughter's husband's father would be the mechutin, your daughter's husband's mother would be the machatonista, and the two of them would be your machatonim. And sometimes it's used generally for in-laws, the machatonim. Now, a chacham in Hebrew means a wise person, but a chochem is kind of like a wise guy. Chochem. You got to clear your throat twice for that. Chochem. Now, a Maven is somebody who knows a lot about things, or somebody who thinks they know a lot about things. What's a Yiddish cup? A kind of a Jewish brain, usually used in a positive way. So that person has a Yiddish cup. What's Yiddishkeit? Kind of general Judaism. It's like the old joke about the new rabbi who wants to give a sermon his first Shabbat, and the president says, what are you going to talk about? And he says, Shabbat. He says, no, don't talk about Shabbat. People here work on the Sabbath. What do you want to talk about? How about kashrut? No, people here don't keep kosher. The rabbi says, what do you want me to talk about? And the president says, Yiddishkeit. Sort of like a generic, vanilla Judaism, Yiddishkeit. Now what's a shmendrik? Shmendrik, a no-goodnik. How about a mensch? Well, that's really one of the best words you can say about somebody. It really means a man, but a good man, a pious man, a decent man, a mensch. What about the word tchotchkes? Well, those are like little things you have around the house. Sort of, I've got lots of tchotchkes, lots of things around the house, kind of clutter or collections of things. One Jewish joke about the word fergussen. How do you get Jews named Ferguson? Well, fergussen means forgot. And so the Jew gets to Ellis Island and gets so a rebuttal, which means he kind of can't remember anything or he's confused. And the guy at Ellis Island says to him, "What's your name?" And he goes, "Fergussen, I forgot." And that's how Jews got to be Ferguson. So those are some of the common Yiddish terms. Let's review. So what's a chutzpah? Go back and listen if you don't remember. What's a shlemiel and a shlemazal? What's a goniff? What's a shikur? What is to be farblongeg? What is shlep? What's a shtickle? What's farblongeg? Who's a chochem? Who are the machatonim? What's a chochem? What's a Maven? What's a Yiddish cup? What's a Yiddishkeit? What's a shmendrik? What's a mensch? What's tchotchkes? And what's fergussen? Just some basic Jewish terms, Yiddish terms. We'll do some more another time. One famous one is good yontiff, which is good yom tov, for happy holiday.